Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Maverick Mindset Radio Show. I am Adam Williams.
I'm Jackie Williams.
And I'm Ashley Muckenhop.
And this is the radio show for the dreamers and doers. It's for those who are willing to step into the arena.
Some call us the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers.
We don't accept the status quo. We leave the world better than we find it.
We approach each day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. We maintain irrational optimism about the future.
This is the Maverick Mindset Radio Show, brought to you by me, Adam Williams, first show of 2026. Tell me if you've had this experience.
Uh-oh.
Driving into the studio this morning, did anyone cry or was it just me?
I didn't cry.
Mm-mm.
It's
For
just
once,
me.
I didn't cry.
I am extremely sad.
That Christmas is over?
No. I am extremely sad because I have a warning to issue on this show, and not enough people are going to hear it. And those people that do hear it aren't going to actually listen to it until it's too late. And it's making me very sad. So I was trying to listen to my songs that get me pumped up playlist on the drive in.
Ooh. What was it today?
Well, it's a whole playlist. I just let it shuffle until the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
I was going to say, is
Wait
it
a minute, does that one, you didn't cry harder? Okay.
There's just the opening, bow, and I immediately had to switch songs. I'm like, I can't deal with this right now. Here's my warning. That not enough people are going to hear, and the people that do hear aren't going to listen until it's too late. The world is about to change in a greater way than you have ever seen in your entire life, and it will happen at a rate that is faster than you have ever seen in your entire life. And this will affect your business, this will affect your job, and because it affects those things, it will affect you, your family, your children, your children's children, and most of you have no idea that it's coming. Here's the good news. No one really knows what's actually going to happen. And let me make it clear. This is all driven by artificial intelligence. I spent 3 days at a conference last week, and I finally understand not necessarily what's coming, but I finally understand the impact of whatever it is that will come, and I'm starting to understand the speed at which it will come. And you guys know how excited I was coming back from this conference, and it finally hit me last night when a friend of mine sent me a message, and I have had a rough couple of days this week. I've been working my tail off. A friend of mine sent me a message and asked me a business question, and I said, "Did you put it in ChatGPT?" And she said, "Well, no." Okay. She goes, Are you using AI in your business?" Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm still not sure if we're going to do that.
Oh, man.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're cooked. Because your success in business has everything to do with your ability to make decisions and to take action on those decisions. And AI helps you do both of those things faster than you can even comprehend if you don't have exposure to it. And I feel horrible for the people that don't hear that message or don't change their approach in response to that message. So today, oh God, we're going to talk about what you should do. This is your 2026 warning. In fact, it's not. This is your next 30 days warning because it's coming bigger and faster than you are ready for. And this is not going to be a show about how to implement AI in your business. Don't worry, that's coming because I'm starting a new business to help with that too. You're going to hear a lot about it. Not today. This is not a show about how to implement AI in your business. This is a show about how to change foundational aspects of your business so that when, not if, you implement AI, you will be successful. And if you don't implement AI, whether or not you have this foundation, it's not going to matter because you're not going to exist as a business anymore. Period. This is my prediction show. If you don't do these things and then go and implement AI on top of it, don't just jump in and start throwing AI in, and we'll explain that today. If you don't put this foundation in place before you implement AI, you will struggle. If you put this foundation in place and don't implement AI, you're going out of business anyway. And for some of you, it's 90 days away. For some of you, it's 6 months. For some of you, it's 12 months. For some of you, it might be 3 or 4 years. I talked to a kid yesterday that's thinking about going to law school. I said, dude, that's the dumbest decision you could make right now. That is the dumbest decision you could make unless it's free. Probably won't be free. Because that industry is going to change so fast in the next 3 years. Talked to a guy yesterday, and I literally went on ChatGPT during my conversation to help explain a legal concept to him because it wasn't getting through to him. All right. That's your warning. Now what do we do about it? It is time to focus on the vision and culture and values of your business. Because that is the foundation on which you will build the rest of your business, and that is the foundation upon which you will be able to implement AI successfully. Implementing tech just for the sake of implementing tech and hoping that it helps you keep up is not going to work in the future that's coming. Because so many businesses are just going to go out and automate things for the sake of automating things, and we as human beings will not accept that because we as human beings want to interact with other human beings. So yes, we've slowly as a society adapted to self-checkout at the grocery store. In fact, did you know there was a period of time that you couldn't even pump your own gas?
I miss those days.
It was all full service. I mean, that was just a couple of years ago in New Jersey, but it was a thing that for years you didn't pump your own gas. They were all full, and then people slowly adapted to that. But the reality is, if you want to succeed, if you want to survive in the next year or 3 years or 5 years, you need to get a grasp on your vision, your mission, and your culture of the business. And there's 2 reasons. One, no matter what, you're still going to need people in your business. You will still need employees, if for no other reason than to help you run your AI systems that exist. And yes, there's going to be a single employee billion-dollar business that gets created. A single owner with the proper use of AI will create a billion-dollar business. It's coming. But just like Facebook and Apple and Microsoft, it's going to be the exception to the rule. That's not going to be most of us, but it's going to happen. And if it's you, let's be friends. But for the rest of us, we're still going to need people. And having a grasp on your vision and your mission and your culture will help you attract the right people to be on your team. That's what we were supposed to talk about today. But the other part of it is your business also, probably even more importantly than employees in a lot of instances, needs customers. And if you are clear and unapologetic about your vision and your mission and your culture, you will find the customers that want to be a part of that. Mm-hmm. And that cannot be replaced by AI. Whew. That's the longest opening monologue
Quite an intro
I've ever done on this show. Completely unscripted.
Off the cuff.
That was
Good
beautiful.
job.
But let's talk about where we really wanted to start with this show, because it relates directly to the vision and mission and culture. And what I realized this morning, it hit me last night and then really hit me this morning, was this is more than just building a great team. This is really going to come down to survival. for so many of us. And I mean that both in the literal and the figurative sense. Like, yes, the survival of your business, but this is going to be some 1929 stock market crash, people jumping off of buildings type stuff. And now with that scope in front of you, we can talk about what we wanted to talk about. Because what we wanted to talk about is we're trying to build a team of killers in our business. Mm-hmm. We're trying to build a team of people that love helping other people, that love serving clients, that love seeing their impact. We want to build a team of people that want to succeed and understand that we are on the same page with them in helping them succeed. And I think where this really started is that's something that gets lost in a lot of businesses. An employee says, wow, you mean you as an employer actually care about me? Yeah. It was a good idea for the years that we've been doing that. It's going to become a necessity.
Mm-hmm. You were ahead of the game for a while.
I'm ahead of the game right now.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm trying to emphasize to people is there is not a doubt in my mind of the accuracy of these predictions.
Yeah.
And if I'm not sure of something, I'll hedge my bets, or I'll let you know,
Yeah.
or I'll say this is my best guess. This is a 100% guarantee.
Yeah, I'm not betting against you. I've learned my lesson, so I got you.
Oh my God. That is both a completely appropriate comment, but also
I know.
hilarious. For those who don't know, Ashley made a bet with me in December.
Bad move.
And if I did the thing that I had complete control over, I won the bet. And if I didn't do the thing over which I had complete control, she'd win the bet. So what do you think happened? Well, of course I won. But what was the wager?
I had to carry a box around.
The wager was the loser
Got to
has to
pick.
carry an item around our Christmas party all night. It wasn't an article of clothing, because I didn't think that would be fair. It was you had to carry an item.
It was a long Christmas party, by the
And
way.
I crafted a box, decorated
With lights.
with lights
Sound.
and a Bluetooth speaker, and my assistant helped me with this. And the box was labeled.
Yeah.
List of times Adam was right. Box 1 of 372.
Mm.
And you had this thing on stage at the comedy club.
Oh, gosh.
You had this thing
I carried
at dinner in the private room.
Yep.
You had this box at karaoke, and you carried it all night.
Yeah,
It even made farting sounds.
it did.
And now I keep seeing now on Instagram posts of like fantasy football leagues and the things that people wager, and I keep sending them to Ashley. The one I sent her last night,
Yeah.
The guy lost, and he had to volunteer to be a flight attendant on a Southwest flight and serve the drinks and the snacks to people.
I didn't even know that you could do that.
No, the best one was that you'd have to camp out in the other one's yard.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine being camped out in your backyard?
Dude, I don't know that I would camp out in our
No,
backyard.
I know.
There you
There's
go.
a lot of animals.
There's an example. There's an example of the culture that we're trying to build in this business. We're competitive and we have fun. We like to win. We hate to lose. But we know that competition makes us better. Can you say that about the coffee shop across the street? Do you think that barista loves winning? No. And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe that works for their business. But in our business, you need to want to win. It's a perfect example. But you also got to have fun doing it.
I
Yeah.
think, so yeah, and maybe not necessarily, I see it as excellence, right? So winning, maybe not compared to someone else directly, but you want to win for the cause. You want to win for what you're delivering on. And I think that's what sets people apart. And those are the people that we want working for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're unapologetic about that.
Yeah.
We want
Excellence.
excellence. How many businesses can say that? And I'm not saying this to say, oh, we're better and we're so great. What I'm saying is this is unapologetically who we are, and you either want to be a part of it or you don't want to be
Right.
a part of it. So if you don't want to work for a business where excellence is the standard, where friendly competition, healthy competition is the expectation, where growth is the expectation, where showing up and working hard is the minimum standard. That's barely enough to keep receiving a paycheck because we demand more than that. If that doesn't appeal to you, you don't want to work for a company like ours.
Right.
And we are unapologetic about that. If you disagree with every single one of those things and you want to establish the opposite culture at your business, fine, you will attract those people and maybe that will work for you. This is not about what we do is right and what everybody else does is wrong. This is not an objective conversation. This is a subjective conversation.
Right.
Of, do you want to work in a building where the wall in the conference room is painted blue? Great, we have that. Oh, you prefer red? Sorry, you have to go work somewhere else.
And that's the lesson here, is defining that and teaching to it, right? Defining what the culture is, attract the people, both clients and employees that align with that, and hold them accountable to it, right?
Yeah. So what else do you think it is that separates our vision or mission or culture?
Well, I think, when we talk about our core values, the idea of like taking our job seriously, but not ourselves seriously. We just said a lot of things about taking our job seriously, right? Excellence. But we're all human, right? So when it comes down to it, we also have to have a little grace, and we have to embrace the occasional mistake and turn it into a lesson versus a failure. Meaning that when we do make mistakes, we learn from them, and we don't consider them failures. We don't expect perfection with excellence, but we do expect that person to want to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, get better by whatever happened. We all can learn from it, and then we move forward.
I think that's an important thing that you said. You don't expect perfection with excellence, because I think people get those mixed up a lot.
Yeah. There are businesses where perfection is the expectation, and as soon as you make a mistake, you're gone.
Yeah.
We're not that type of business because we know you learn from the mistakes, or you should learn from the mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the issue. If you make the mistake and don't learn from it,
Right.
then it's a problem. But if you make a mistake, fine. But there are other places where when a mistake is made, and whether it was a real mistake or not, people get let go. Well, we know that's not how you learn and grow, and we know you're not coming in knowing everything. So that's fine. But in other businesses, maybe mistakes are completely unacceptable. Maybe that's the type of culture that you want to create as a business owner or a leader or manager. Or maybe that's the type of culture that you want to work with because you couldn't imagine working with other people who tolerate mistakes. Fine, go for it. That's not us.
Right. And I think, too, it's not giving up when you do make the mistake, right? I was thinking today a lot about the concept of excellence in our business and how it's not one of our core values, but every single one of our core values, like there's a context in which you can think about it, right? So we just talked about we take our job seriously, but not ourselves seriously. Figure it out. Someone could say excellence with figure it out.
Figure it out is another one of our core values.
Yes, sorry. Excellence could say I shouldn't have to like figure it out. I should know it coming in. Is that excellence? No. Excellence is when you're presented with a challenge, you rise to the occasion and you figure it out. That's where we look at it from like a growth mindset, right? Versus a fixed mindset of, in order to work for someone who expects excellence, I need to know everything already. I think when we are curious of both ourselves, the people we work with.
So that's another value.
Yeah.
Be curious, not judgmental.
Exactly. When we are curious of our employees, our coworkers, our clients, we're being excellent in that we are putting ourselves in their shoes. We're not judging them. Excellence could be seen as, well, I judge whatever I don't think is right or the standard. Well, no, we give space to understand. Excellence is also understanding. Or seeking understanding, rather.
Yeah.
That's a good example too.
I think your mic just went.
Yeah, I think there's my audio.
There
All
it
right.
is.
Joel, did you mute me?
Adam's been talking this whole time, and you all don't know that.
I exceeded my word quota for the
No, I could
day.
hear you.
and
I could hear you.
Not on the microphone. Joel muted me. I don't even remember what I was going to say. Joel, that's a mistake. You're fired.
Oh, no.
I don't even remember what I was going to say now.
We were talking about our core values, being
Yeah.
curious, not judgmental.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, let's switch gears for a second because I also want to talk about mission and vision. Right? I believe that mission, this is another 30-day prediction. You better get really clear on the mission of your business. Because people want to know that they're a part of something that's doing something great by their definition. I may not agree with the mission of other business. If your mission is to help businesses implement AI just so they can fire all their employees, I don't agree with that vision. But there are some people maybe who do because they think that would be great and wonderful and that's going to maximize shareholder value and do all these things. Fine, whatever. That's not the mission that I'm interested in. If your mission is to manufacture an item in America to create jobs for people, great. That's a mission that I can get behind. There's other people that don't care about that. So I think your mission and your vision is going to be more important than ever in 2026. I think it's an absolute necessity that you get clear on your mission and your vision. Because that's one way that you differentiate yourself, and it's something that people can get behind. And I don't care if you have a landscaping company, a coffee shop, a pizza place. You need a mission and a vision. You need something that people buy into. You need a reason, an emotional reason that people buy your pizza. Maybe your mission is, we want to make the most delicious pizza in the entire world. Okay, cool. Maybe your mission is, we want to make the most expensive pizza in the entire world. Great. Maybe we want to make the most innovative pizza in the entire world. Great. Maybe too many businesses do this. Maybe we want to donate 10% of our profits to some charity. Fine, whatever.
It's a great tax saving, sorry.
Yeah, giving away money can help you save on your taxes.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
No, it's true. Actually, what's the sock company? Bombas?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Royce and I went and volunteered at that place that helps disadvantaged people, and they had boxes and boxes and boxes of Bombas socks, and I said,
love
wait a
those
minute.
socks,
I said,
too.
wait a minute. When you buy a pair of Bombas, they donate a pair. You guys get some of those? And they said, yeah. Well, guess who got a whole bunch of Bombas socks for Christmas? Because that's a mission I can get behind. I've now seen the impact of
Yeah.
people going in and grabbing a 6-pack of socks when their, pinky toe is sticking out of one of their socks that they already had. Like, that's cool. There's a mission there. There's a vision, and I'm gonna get behind that. And I think that's becoming more important as we become a more automated society, as we become a more tech-driven society, an AI-driven society, a stare-at-your-phone screen all-day society. That mission, that vision becomes more important than ever. And I think you need to get clear on that. And here's one of the issues is a whole bunch of people are going to hear that and go, I don't need a mission. I'm just a clothing store. I just cut grass. That's exactly the problem, is if you don't get clear. If you're a landscaper, if your mission can be, we want to be a very cost-effective landscaper so that we can help people that don't have big yards, but they just don't want to take the time to cut it and they want to spend time with their family, great, that's you. If you want to be the landscaper that creates the most beautiful lawn in the entire neighborhood, if you want to be the landscaper that makes all the other neighbors jealous, great. That's cool too. But get clear on what it is, because if you're not clear, you're just another landscaper and you're going to get buried. If you're not clear on your mission, you're going to get replaced by a robot lawnmower.
how do you think that relates, right, to a why too? Like for when you're at the point where if you are a business owner, right, and you're in a hard season,
Mm-hmm.
if you have that mission, you have that vision, it's a lot easier to get out of bed the days that it's hard, right? And then you also set the example for team. If you as the leader have a why, have a mission, have a vision, you have that to stand behind.
Yeah, your why in your business, the reason that you do the thing that you do, is a great way to attract people to that business. It's a magnet for staff and for clients. Yes, absolutely. But sort of related to the magnet analogy, it's also a compass, and it tells you the direction to head. And it can also pull you forward when you feel stuck or lost or discouraged.
Absolutely.
Man, that was good. That was good.
Are there magnets and compasses?
It's also like a refrigerator. No, I don't know. I should have brought coffee to this show. This
Here,
is.
do you need here?
We'll be all right. I'm gonna go to a coffee shop with a mission. But I think that's what I want to make abundantly clear here is I said vision, mission, values. You said your why, and I think those concepts have a lot of overlap. And I think that's the whole point. Is if you don't have that, it's going to be really hard to differentiate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And every business it continues to become commoditized because, first of all, especially small business owners, they're not good marketers. They don't know how to make themselves appear as unique or make themselves unique. And if their purpose or their why isn't clear, they're going to struggle. And here's where this gets even worse. Oh my God, here we go. Most people fall into their business.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that?
They didn't do it. They didn't start it by design
Got
or
it.
by structure with specific goals in
Just
mind.
happened.
They usually said something like this. I've got a job doing this thing. I'm pretty good at doing this thing, and I must be making my boss so much money. Let me go and try it on my own.
Got it.
Or they say, oh, I like doing this thing, and all my friends say I should start a business. I'm going to go start a business doing this thing. Or they get separated from a job, and they think entrepreneurship is going to be the way to go. Great. Or they just sort of stumble into it. Mm-hmm. They don't get into their business of most businesses don't get into their business of, here's the difference I'm going to make. Here's the impact that I'm going to have. Here's the people that I'm going to help. It's usually, how can I make enough money to cover my bills as quickly as possible? So because you didn't start your business with that, things for enough business owners go well enough that at least they're paying their bills. Of course, there's exceptions to that, but it's like, well, I stumbled into this business. I'm doing well enough to pay my bills, or maybe I'm doing even better than that, and I'm succeeding. And they never stop and think about the impact or the mission of the business. Now is your time to do that. Now is your time to do that. And I guarantee this. Do this as a test for me, people. If you have a mission for your business, I want you to go on social media and share it and see how many people say, hell yeah. Heck yeah. And there are a bunch of people that are going to hopefully, I hope and pray for you that there's also a whole bunch of people that post an eye roll emoji because they're not interested in your mission. Great. Now we're polarizing people. Mm-hmm. Back to the magnet analogy. Now we're drawing a line in the sand. We're saying, here's what we stand for. And if you're on our side, come over here. And if you're not, best of luck in your future endeavors. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm about, right? And it's becoming so much more important than it ever has. And I need you, people of America, people of the world, people of Erie, Pennsylvania. I need you to be unapologetic about this. I need you to not hem and haw. Because if you're hesitant, or you hedge your bets, or you're too ashamed to share this, it's not going to matter because you will go out of business. Please listen to me on this. I know I've said some things in the past that have been incorrect. This is not one of them. All right, Ashley, where are we on the outline? What are we even supposed to cover now?
I mean, we had a whole thing, but you changed it up on me.
Okay. Well, here's another thing that I was thinking about, because I just posted the coolest job I've ever created 2 days ago on Facebook. I'm hiring an innovation assistant. And I know you're sitting there thinking, gosh, I've never heard of that job title. And that's because ChatGPT and I made it up a couple days ago. I need someone who's going to help me implement all of the ideas that I have that are tech related right now, because we're going to put them in place in our business. We're going to prove the concept. We're going to make it work. And then we're going to take it to other small businesses because they need this in order to survive. There's my mission. I'm going to help you implement tech and AI in your business because it is necessary for the survival of small businesses in America. And somewhere there's somebody listening to this going, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. And somewhere there's a whole bunch of people listening to that going, I don't care. That doesn't matter. Why is that important to you? You're not my people. That's fine. I'm not judging you for that. But I was thinking about when I posted this job, the show that we did on the Maverick Motivators,
Yep.
which I actually used AI to create an assessment for, which will take public pretty soon. And the different things that motivate people. And we talked about being part of that vision, that impact, right? You want to have, that's one of the motivators. I want to be part of something bigger than myself. This is why the Army works, the military. People join the military not because the pay and benefits are great. They're literally putting their lives at risk, but that mission of
It's important.
defending the land of the free and the home of the brave, yes, that's what they're in it for, right? So you need that vision, you need that mission, right? Or there's obviously the people that are motivated by money, by perks, by benefits. Okay, so we can talk about that. There's people that are motivated by having that growth opportunity. They want to learn new skills. They want to develop new skills. Great, we can talk about that. There's the people that want to be part of a team, that want to not work in a silo, in a cubicle, work from home 24/7. They want to be on a team. They want to be out high-fiving their coworkers or
Belonging.
punishing them. Yeah, belonging. They want to be out punishing them at the Christmas party with decorated boxes, right? And then the last one, I'm amazed I did this all from memory. The last one is the people that are the recognition seekers. They need the pat on the back. They need the good job. They need the high five, right? Well, as I'm writing this ad for this newly created position that will be the most impactful position in our business, I had to start thinking about those other motivators because they all have to be in that job ad in order to attract the right person. This job is primarily mission driven, meaning the impact that you have will be so measurable that a generation from now, people will be grateful for the work that you did. That's awesome. Anybody who does this job has to be motivated by that. But also, they're going to be part of a team. They're going to get high fives from me because we're going to do cool stuff. They're going to get paid well because my measurement of impact is revenue. And hey, you can be a part of that, right? So they're going to get all of those other things that I had to address at least a little bit in the job ad, because it can't just be that one thing of the impact motivator. It's got to be a balance of all of those things. And I think that's where we were going to start this show, is those motivators, those 6 categories that I just went through. When you and I did that show initially, it was another one where I sort of came in that morning and hijacked the entire thing. We talked about, you're a growth junkie, right? Ashley, you want to learn new things. You want to develop new skills. But it's been, I don't know, 10 months since that show was last summer, I think. We also recognized since then that it also changes over time, right? There are certain times where I'm way more motivated by money than other times. There are times that I'm way more motivated by impact than other times. So it's sort of a moving target. And I think that was where we wanted to really focus this show, is on, once you get those people on your team, how do you keep them doing the things that they need to do? Because maintaining motivation is so difficult on an individual basis. You need to be a good manager or a good leader to do that for people. Jackie, you just took the assessment that I made what did you think about it?
I mean, it was interesting. I guess I didn't. Sometimes when you take an assessment like that, it's kind of clear what you're opposed to. I think, I don't know, maybe I like all kinds of
Motivation.
maybe I just like to work or something. I don't know. But all of the motivators were motivating.
You do.
to me.
You do find fulfillment in the work.
Yeah. And so I'd be interested to see how much I varied from like the least impactful to the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it came away with recognition in terms of like knowing that I made an impact.
So if I was your boss, and let's make it abundantly clear that the relationship is the exact opposite of that. But if I was your boss, I'm going to come to you, and if I need to get something done, I'm not going to say, do this and get a bonus. I'm not going to say, do this because you'll help the team. I'm going to come to you and say, hey, I have a challenge for you. Are you ready for this? Right?
Well, yeah, so that was part of it. I think the other one was somewhat financially motivated too, so maybe
that was actually the finances were actually they were in your bottom
really?
too.
Actually, oh, okay.
Now again, that may change.
But that's like, yeah.
But I actually, when I read that, so yeah, your financial motivation, your reward seeking was on the low end of yours.
Okay.
And I actually completely agree with that. Because if I asked you right now, what do you want?
Make a difference.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're not going to think about material things. It's not going to be, oh, I want to save up for a purse or a car or, some financial thing. It's going to be, I want to make a difference.
Yeah.
I want to build something cool. Right? hesitate to say this, but you're going to say, I want to work hard on something because that fulfills me.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the whole point of understanding what makes people tick is it's so different for everybody. And you need to get really clear on that to get people to do the work that needs to be done. And as the type of work that we as human beings do changes as rapidly as it's about to change, when so many people are just going to go into survival mode of like, we got to figure this out. We're going to do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter what my motivations are. I need to be able to pay my bills and not lose my house. I think the businesses that understand those motivators that can provide both, like, hey, we will help you not just survive, but thrive. And here's how we're going to align our goals. I think those are the businesses that are going to survive and be the most successful because of it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be difficult. Because there aren't enough people that are going to think through this. There's going to be so many people. I was talking about this at the event I was at last week. You're going to have, you want to know where a big opportunity is going to be in 2026 and 2027 is helping people start businesses. It's called the opportunity business, right? You're helping people pursue opportunities because what's going to happen is they're going to get laid off. We're seeing this at the big companies, Facebook, Apple. All these companies that went out and hired a whole bunch of people during the pandemic because they had the cash and they didn't know what to do. And, we may need these people. One, realized they didn't actually need those people. They were playing a lot of defense. And two, they need even fewer of those people now because of artificial intelligence. So those people are getting laid off and they're going to spend a couple months looking for a job and they're going to realize there's not much out there and they're going to go and look to start a business. Franchises are going to be huge in the next year or two. Because that's an easy way to start a business if you've got the resources to do it. They give you the brand, they give you the system, go for it. I'm too creative and hate rules. I can't go start a franchise. But if it was necessary for my survival, I would do it. Mm-hmm. And it's going to get to that point for a lot of people where their jobs are no longer necessary. And we've talked about it on the show. If you need to understand how you contribute to the success of the business, and you better have a conversation with your boss to make sure that they understand how you contribute to the success of the business. It's a two-way street. You have to know, but you got to make sure that they know too.
Yeah.
I think that those conversations are more important than ever.
And then how does that align with what the changes are going to be?
Yes.
Right. And I think, one of the things we talked about when we were preparing for this is the different concepts in Tim Grover's book Relentless of being, are you a cooler, a closer, or a cleaner? And those are different types of, I guess, ways of excellence you show up. So how in your job are you showing up just as a cooler? How are you showing up as a closer?
Can you tell us what those things are?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Tim Grover
wrote
Relentless.
Yes.
And Winning.
I think I think the other one was Winning.
And he just happened to be
Michael
Jordan's personal trainer.
So he's
Fun
a little
fact.
he's comfortable with excellence. And this, while we were preparing, this is something I have in front of me, and I've noticed that I haven't held people sometimes to that standard. I have it in front of me on my desk all the time. And when am I showing up like that? But also am I holding our team accountable to help them rise through these different ranks? So a cooler is the first rung, if you will. A cooler, according to Tim Grover, maintains stability and calm. They're reliable, supportive, and good at keeping things from falling apart. They value balance, relationships, and consistency. Coolers help teams function smoothly, but they do not seek the spotlight or push for exceptional outcomes. They're comfortable maintaining the status quo rather than raising the bar. So this is someone, there's probably parts of our lives where we show up as a cooler. There's probably parts of our lives where we don't even show up as a cooler. But so that's one level of showing up, right? The next rung up is a closer, and a closer gets results. Closers thrive under pressure and can deliver when it matters most. They are driven by winning, recognition, and achievement. Closers can perform at a high level, but they may cut corners or focus on the outcome more than the process. They get it done, but not always the cleanest way.
That makes me think of the pitcher in baseball, right? Who comes in to pitch the last 3 outs in the 9th inning? That's your closer, right? That's the person who gets that job done.
Yeah. Now, but the cleaner sets the standard. They're obsessed with excellence, accuracy, and ownership. They do things right, even when no one is watching. They take mistakes personally and constantly push themselves and others to improve. They don't just win, they redefine what winning looks like. They demand accountability, they hate mediocrity, and they elevate the entire organization. So when I just was talking about myself having those definitions up there, and
when you say up there, they're literally hanging on the wall in front of your computer where you sit every day.
I had the realization, I'm not showing up as a cleaner to my team in maintaining this standard to them and holding them to become closer to a cleaner, because I had forgotten that those concepts were even in front of me. And so it's like stepping on the scale as you, as the employee, are looking to, where do I grow with this business? How can I become a cleaner to this company, to this organization, or even in my career? If you're not committed maybe to the mission, but you are committed to being a cleaner in the profession you have or the personal mission and values that you have, how are you stepping on the scale to see that you're showing up like a cleaner?
That's really interesting. So let's get the first thing out of the way. Cleaners are rare.
Yes.
Those are the purple unicorns.
Those are the
right?
Michael Jordans.
You may think you're a cleaner. Odds are you're not.
Yeah.
Okay. But you said something that I think I want to disagree with.
Okay.
You said that if you can't commit to the mission of the business, but you can commit to being a cleaner, that works, right? And I have a different perspective on that.
Okay.
But I think both of them will work. I'm formulating this as the words are coming out of my mouth. Okay. So if your commitment is to being a cleaner, your commitment is to whatever those elements were, excellence, redefining what winning means, and it's your commitment to that, great. My opinion is it's a heck of a lot easier to be a cleaner if you buy into the mission of the business.
Yes, in the context of the business.
Okay. Now,
if you are, what I kind of ended what I was saying with is like also, your core values too. So like, you're talking about all this change that's happening. There may be businesses with a mission that like will just utterly get replaced by AI, right? But what are you bringing to the table? How are you improving yourself in other habits of excellence? Maybe even outside the context of business, what your core values are. So if and when this great change comes, because it's coming, no matter how impactful it is to the business you work on, how are you becoming the best version of yourself so that you can pivot to where you need to pivot?
I have that answer. Here's another fearless prediction. I believe that success in your role is going to be, this is so meta. Success in your role is going to be less related to you being able to do the good work. It's going to be more related to your ability to recognize good work. So, if you are a graphic designer and you can create great graphic designs, great. Here's how your job is about to change. You need to be able to recognize great graphic design because the design can be done for you. Tech can create the thumbnail image for your YouTube video faster than you can and better than you can because it knows the words and the facial expressions and the headlines and the attention grabbers that need to be in a YouTube thumbnail. It knows that better than you do. And there's a bunch of people out there that are really offended by that, but that's the truth. That's the point. But you need to be able to recognize the good graphic design. You need to be able to recognize good copy, not necessarily create good copy. You need to be able to recognize good tax planning, not necessarily do great tax planning.
Can I add to, I don't want to interrupt your thought.
I wish you would.
Okay. So as I've been utilizing AI more into things I'm creating and into our business, I'm learning, and just to kind of come back to this concept of excellence in a cleaner, someone who is a cleaner and holds themselves to a standard of excellence has exercised the muscle of persistence and doing things that are difficult for them.
Okay.
I have found, as I'm trying to utilize AI to get the result I want, I have to communicate with the AI very clearly, and I have to be persistent. And if I recognize that something doesn't show up the way that I want it to, or that is not good tax planning, for example, I have to know and persistently ask the questions to get to what is. And so I think that is why a cleaner and holding yourself to a standard of excellence and getting better and better and better is important, because as we face new challenges, there's going to be more things that we need to persistently push against pain points to get to the result, to build the thing that before maybe we just spent hours doing.
Yeah.
Does that make...
But like you said, you need to be able to recognize whether it's a good outcome or not.
Right.
Did it create what I wanted? So I had another emotional moment last night. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know this, NASCAR has changed its playoff format. I know this because I have a 15-year-old son who's obsessed with NASCAR, and he hasn't been able to stop talking about this. And then last night, he went into ChatGPT and had it do an analysis of what would have happened in the 2025 NASCAR season if they used the new playoff formula versus the old playoff formula. Nerd. He was loving it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pulled out 10 sheets of loose leaf paper and was doing all these hand calculations. And I'm like, bro, please put that back in AI. And he said, no, I'm having fun. Just
do the math.
He said, no, I'm having fun. Just let me have fun. And I said, you know what? You're sitting there, your phone, you don't have a device in front of you. You're deeply focused on something that you enjoy. Fine, go for it. But we were talking about the output from AI. And even he at 15 years old knows that the information and the prompts that he gives will have an effect on the output. Or there was another instance over the weekend where I needed to know the time of an event, and he Googled it because I was doing something, was probably driving or something. So he Googled it. And Google now, for those of you in marketing or those of you in small business, you need to start understanding this. Google now has what they call zero-click results. So it used to be you Google something and you click one of the top 3 results and you get your information. Now with AI, they got zero-click results. So you Google something and it gives you the answer right there. So it doesn't drive traffic to your webpage, right? So I needed to know the time of an event, and he relied on the zero-click result that this thing is at 7 p.m. on Saturday. And that made me nervous. I'm like, bro, you have to click that website. And he's like, well, it's right half the time. And it's like, but at least he understood that like it may spit out the bad information, but he knows enough to verify it and on the back end and check the website for it. So yeah, I think your ability to recognize and identify good work is going to become so much more important than your ability to create it. And actually, like think about what that means, right? If it used to take you an hour to create something, mm-hmm. that now you can do in 30 seconds with AI, and you could recognize whether it's good or not. Let's use the widgets, right? You produce widgets and you can produce a good widget in an hour, but now you've got a machine that creates those widgets for you, and you just have to identify whether they're any good or not. Instead of 1 per hour, how many can you now produce per hour? Nearly limitless.
Yeah. Like I don't know what kind of machine
nearly
we're talking
limitless.
about. Like.
But that's the point. Is even if you could only double your output, even if you could only 10x your output, that's probably underselling it for a lot of us. And it doesn't necessarily need to be the specific thing that you do in your business, but it can be a part of your business. If you own a coffee shop, I know you don't have robots yet that are making the coffee for you, but you will. We arguably have a robot that does that because we got the little touchscreen machine. And if you want a cappuccino, it'll do a cappuccino. And if you want an Americano, it'll do an Americano. But anyway, if you own that coffee shop and you don't have the coffee making robots yet, you still have to post on social media. And if you're not using AI to create those posts, it's taking you a lot more time. You can 10x your output. If you're reviewing your financial statements and it takes you 2 days a month to get that stuff together, well, now what if you could get that done in 2 hours per month? How much faster can you operate? How much more can you get done? And I'm not telling you that you have to do this so that you can get more done. I'm telling you have to do this so that you can survive, because your competitors are doing this and the big mega corporations are doing this. The big corporations spent hundreds of billions of dollars last year on AI. Hundreds of billions of dollars. And they have implemented 5% of that. So when you call a company now and it's an AI voice agent answering the phone on the other end and it does a pretty good job, they've only put 5% in place. What happens when they get to 50% of the money that they spent actually being implemented? If you're a small business, you are going to get buried unless you get clear on your mission, your values, your purpose for existing, and you start implementing AI in your own way.
Mm-hmm. I'm also just going to add, I think it's important for you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's the whole thing, embracing it.
Now more than ever.
Yeah.
I hate that phrase.
Because, like you said, I guess where I'm trying to come back to the point where you need to be able to identify it, not just do it. But also, once you identify it, you need to be persistent in how you fix it or teaching it.
That's a dead on. That is like the great concluding advice to this show of being comfortable, or get comfortable being uncomfortable has always been necessary in business, because that implies change and growth, and change and growth are uncomfortable, and you have to get comfortable with that. It's a million times worse now. And what you talk about, persistence and excellence, you know that those are the things that are going to get you to success on this. I had a conversation with an employee yesterday, I don't even know what day it is anymore, earlier this week, about, hey, here's the two paths that your job can take from here, because your job has to change for a million reasons, but he knows it. And I said, here's path one, where you get to go and do this thing, and here's path two, where you get to go and do that thing. And I said, if you're looking for predictability and stability, it's option one. If you're looking for working more with me and figuring it out as we go, here's option two. And he said, well, both of those are going to work, right? Because he had enough confidence that I'm going to figure this stuff out. And I was like, oh man, this guy gets it. Like, he understands that I have what it takes to figure things out and keep him secure.
I also think that he gets that path one is only so predictable right now, based on what you said. Yeah. It's not super predictable or stable, and we have to build. We're going to have to build stuff to keep it that way, or to maybe not keep it that way, but to navigate the AI implications.
We have to be ready for those changes, and the changes are bigger than they've ever been and coming faster than they've ever come. And if you're thinking about going to law school in the next 3 years, don't do it. I think
what you should do is 75 hard.
You should do 70. Yeah, because that gets you ready, because the conditions are never perfect. That's a good one too. We actually talked about, should we in our business only hire people who have done 75 hard,
or will entertain that it's not. Yeah,
no.
Will entertain
no.
that it's a possibility. Like, there are some people that are adamantly against it.
Yeah. Oh, I could never do that. Yeah, you're not going to work. Yeah, you should be willing to do it. But I think that's the point, is we're willing to walk into that storm because we know we'll come out the other end. Some people don't even see the storm coming. Other people are going to try and avoid it, and it's unavoidable. It's coming. It's happening. And it I feel horribly, because I'm trying to warn you, and you're going to continue to hear these warnings. So your job in the next 30 days is to go and get really clear on the mission and vision for your business, why you do what you do, and be unapologetic about that and talk about it more, because that is going to save you. That's step one of saving you from AI completely wiping you out, from businesses that use AI completely wiping you out. And then on future shows, we're going to talk about how you can put that AI in place. So listen, I'm sharing the message with you. You're welcome. Please go and act on it, because it's necessary for your survival, and share this show. Have a great week. I believe in you.